Maine police continue the investigation into the deaths of 4 people in the town of Oakland.
And an Auburn woman is injured after her car strikes a moose.
It's Friday, November 6th, and your NESCom connection starts right now.
From the campus of Husson University, this is your NESCom connection.
Hello everyone, I'm Connor Newton.
And I'm Nick Blazak.
Police continue an investigation into the central Maine town of Oakland as they try to determine what caused a man to gun down his girlfriend, her sister, and another man, killing all 3 before taking his own life. Police say the only survivor was a 3-year-old girl who was unarmed. Police identified the victims as the child's parents, Amanda Bragg and Michael Mazzurro, along with Bragg's sister, Amy DeRosby. Police say DeRosby's boyfriend, Herman DeRico, shot them in an Oakland apartment Wednesday night before killing himself in the driveway. A 9mm handgun was found next to his body. Public Information Officer Stephen McCausland says police are trying to determine what sparked the violence. McCausland says one of the many 911 calls came from one of the wounded women before she died. He says the little girl is in the care of her grandmother.
It is that time of year again where students sign up for next semester. At Husson University, signing up for classes can be a little confusing, especially for new students. Jackie Hilton is live on campus with that story. Jackie?
Thank you, Nick. It is indeed that time of the year. Starting Monday, November 9th at 5 a.m., seniors will have the opportunity to select their classes. Within the next few days after, the next class will have the options to follow suit.
What should students do to prepare for class registrations?
It is highly recommended for students, besides getting a good night rest, to speak to their advisor to select their courses, pre-select it. That way, when it comes to selecting their courses, students will know what classes to take for next semester.
Would that help to ensure their spot in the class?
That's exactly it. There are a lot of prerequisites, and advisors will help the students get into the courses that have prerequisites. Nick?
Thank you, Jackie, for that report.
According to Southern Maine officials, a high school student has died and 3 others were injured when the vehicle they were in crashed into multiple trees and a telephone pole in Bruxton. Superintendent of Maine School Administration's District Number 6 says that the Thursday morning crash involved Bonnie Eagle High School students. The crash took place on the Turkey Lane and was reported around 3:30 a.m. Officials say 3 students were hospitalized with serious injuries and a 4th person was declared dead at the scene. Their names are not being released until the families can be notified.
State police say an Auburn woman was critically injured when her car struck a 1,000-pound moose on the Maine Turnpike. Police say Taylor Norcross and Frank Gatto of Auburn hit the moose as they were traveling down the northbound lanes in Gray just after 8 p.m. Wednesday. Norcross suffered head injuries and was taken to Central Maine Medical Center in Lewiston. Gatto was not injured. Police say the moose went over the top of the car, taking the roof off. The moose died in the crash.
Supporters of a proposal to raise Maine's minimum wage say that they have more than enough signatures to put the issue on the statewide ballot. The campaign announced its collection of 30,000 signatures on Election Day, bringing its total to more than 90,000 signatures. That's well over the minimum needed to qualify. The proposal for the statewide ballot would raise Maine's minimum wage to $9 in 2017, then by $1 a year until it reached $12 by 2020. After that, it would be increased to the same rate as the cost of living. When we come back, judges make a ruling related to the El Faro, the cargo ship that was lost at sea.
And students at Husson tell us what they think of helicopter parenting.
Heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
So who's gonna do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only
only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice. And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Helicopter parenting is causing a buzz on social media. An article in Salon magazine by education author has many parents second-guessing themselves. In the article titled, "The Epidemic That Actually Isn't," Alfie Cohn shines a light on helicopter parenting and how common it really is. Brianna Beers joins us from the newsroom with that story. Bree?
Yes, research says that of more than 9,000 students surveyed, only 13% of freshmen and 8% of seniors thought that their parents were interfering with their lives. In other words, most students believe that parents did not interfere with their lives. We asked people on Husson University's campus what they think.
Helicopter parenting, I don't really believe in that because if you're going to be hovering your kid all the time, they're not going to learn by their own mistakes. They're not going to have their own experiences. So I don't think that's good for them in the learning process or them in their growing to become an adult.
I'm against helicopter parenting because I grew up with a mother who is very old-fashioned and believes that you need to learn the basics in the house, cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, and basically I was taught by my grandmother and my mother that you have to do everything on your own and you have to grow up on your own and just learn how to do everything on your own. Otherwise, nobody's going to hand anything to you in life.
So I'm for helicopter parenting because kids need guidance these days. They're just so misleaded by the distractions in the world today. You know, with all these drugs, alcohol, it's out of control. So I think the parents need to be there, and I think they need to hold their hand.
I just don't think that's a proper way to teach whatever lessons you're trying to teach. I mean, particularly, let's say sports in particular. I mean, even my, I have a 5-year-old daughter that plays club soccer and rec soccer, and we see parents that are just over anxious. Again, being a helicopter type parent, and again, I don't think the kids get the message they need to get from that type of tactic.
Khan's article is adapted from his book, The Myth of the Spoiled Child, where you can get more information on helicopter parenting.
So Bree, many students are saying helicopter parenting was beneficial, but can it be psychologically damaging to a young person?
Actually, yes. Studies have proven that helicopter parenting actually plays a huge role in students having anxiety and even a diminished sense of well-being. Connor and Nick, back to you.
Thank you. Bree Beers from our newsroom.
A police shootout in New Jersey leaves 2 people hurt, including an 8-year-old girl. Authorities say a police officer was chasing a man through the girl's neighborhood in Osbury Park when the two exchanged gunfire. The gunman was shot in the leg but was expected to recover. The officer was not hurt. Witnesses say the girl was home watching TV when a bullet grazed her forehead. She was treated and released from the hospital. It is not clear if the shot came from the officer or the suspect.
There may be more trouble ahead for the family of an Illinois police officer who authorities say killed himself after embezzling money for years from a youth program he oversaw. An official who has been briefed on the investigation says authorities are now looking at the wife and son of Lieutenant Charles Glinowitz, who allegedly stole thousands of dollars over the course of 7 years. His wife helped him run the youth program. Authorities who had investigated the officer's death as a homicide announced Wednesday that it was, in fact, a suicide and that he had tried to make it appear as if he had been killed in a confrontation with several suspects.
It's still not clear what happened to a Russian passenger plane that went down over Egypt earlier this week. However, U.S. officials tell CNN intelligence suggests the terror group or its affiliation from ISIS planted a bomb on the plane. British Prime Minister David Cameron says it's more than likely a bomb that brought down the Metrojet Flight 9268, but the White House warns the U.S. does not have all the answers.
At this point, the United States has not made our own determination about the cause of the incident. However, we can't rule anything out, including the possibility of terrorist involvement.
The comments come as Russia and Egypt warn about jumping to conclusions as to what caused the plane to crash. The Metrojet broke apart in midair, killing all 224 people on board. Concerns that the plane may have been bombed have forced the cancellation of numerous flights from one of Egypt's well-known resort towns. Right now, thousands of foreign tourists are stranded in Egypt.
Big changes in the country of Colombia. The Constitutional Court there has lifted restrictions that prevented same-sex couples to adopt. The court determined that same-sex couples have the same suitable characteristics as heterosexual couples to raise children. The resolution decided over a claim of unconstitutionality against the country's Children and Adolescents Code.
A federal judge has set the deadline for damage claims filed by relatives of crew members lost aboard the El Faro U.S. District Court Judge Harvey Schlesinger set December 21st as the deadline for the case. The El Faro sank on October 1st due to engine failure in the midst of Hurricane Joaquin. More than 5 lawsuits have been filed. The ship's owner, Tote Maritime, requests limited liability in the case and is looking to contain damages to about $15 million. An attorney representing 2 of the families says that they will contest the limited liability claims. And there's a lot going on with football and other sports. Alex, what's going on?
Yeah, we got big games coming up for a couple Hudson sports teams. Alyssa Thurlow is going to join us live with a report on that. We also have Bruins and Celtics highlights coming up right after this.